Everybody, thank you for tuning in to the next episode of Val's Vibe. I'm here today with Paige Hernandez, who also has Notorious as the head. Thank you very much, Paige, for joining me. I'm really excited to learn more about you and Notorious and talk about how we're going to prepare for the coming year.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Can you tell me a little bit more about Notorious?
Yeah, so Notorious was really birthed out of a little bit of a frustration back in 2023. I'm a loan originator out of California and really felt that as an industry, we were really neglecting the female voice in our industry. Just panel after panel that I was seeing was 80. No, 80 is like really gracious. Let's be honest. It's usually all men. Every once in
Yeah.
a while, they'll throw up the token woman. And I wasn't feeling like represented. I wasn't feeling served in my highest capacity. And sometimes our naivete can really bring about brilliance. And so I just decided one day I'm going to put together an all-female event because there wasn't one out there yet. I really felt that it was a divine idea that came to me. And if I just followed the steps, that something really magical would happen. And so over the course of 2024, put together an all-female 3-day mastermind for women in mortgage. It was very successful. We did 48 women, 3 days in Austin, and it was a beautiful experience. I thought it was like fighting the patriarchy in mortgage to me when I got
Right,
started.
right.
I was like, I'm going to fight the patriarchy in mortgage. But what I found is it's so much bigger than that. Women came out of that event and shared with me just how healing it was for their heart to be in community with other women in our industry. We're a breed of our own, and sometimes just having other people that are going through our same struggle is and supporting us and cheering us on is a really big moment. And so it's been just an incredible experience to build that movement. Coming into 2025, we're actually going bigger this year. This coming year, we have an event that we're planning in the spring. It'll be more of a trip, a vacation, because I want to
Those are
travel.
always good.
We're going to do content creation on this trip. We'll be launching a podcast and a YouTube channel and a YouTube show off of this trip we're going to do in the spring. And then we'll come around in the fall and do an even bigger event to support women in our industry.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I do 100% agree with you. It's interesting because people have a perception that there's more men than women in the real estate industry itself. And in the realtor side, 87% of real estate agents are women.
Mm-hmm.
And probably if we got those kind of stats on the mortgage side, it's probably pretty close to about the same if you not necessarily just licensed loan originators, but processors, underwriters, closers. It's really a female dominated industry. My personal feeling about that is women are excellent delegators. If you give us a task, we're going to get it done. And we're all pretty motivated and driven because that's just what we need to do or have to do.
Yeah, the stats for like women out in the field, like as originators, it's real close to a 50-50 split. And that was like my biggest complaint is if the field's a 50-50 split, why am I not seeing that on stage? Why am I not seeing that in the higher levels of management? Like, where is that disconnect? And really addressing that, because here's the deal is that opportunities get passed through networks. And if women are not getting on the stage, they're not getting further opportunities. There is a reason why you see the same panel after the same panel after the same panel. It's because opportunities flow through that network. And so I wanted
Right.
to provide an opportunity for for women that we're not getting on the stages. Let's get them on the stages because we do provide value in this industry and we have a different way of doing business. And for me, if men train a little bit differently, they deal with different insecurities than we do. I'm not sure if men having to build online in the social space think to themselves, oh, who does he think he is? Or what are people going to think about me? But as women,
Right.
that's like our main concern. It's we have to show up. And as women, we're told we're not supposed to. And so you have to like battle that internal ego and all your self-limiting beliefs. The minute you decide you're gonna go big in whatever you want to do, your ego is gonna pipe up and tell you all the things and all your insecurities. And as women, we deal with things differently. And men work from a really masculine place in their business where it's more for them about outworking each other. But as a woman, if I do that, if I stay in that masculine energy for too long, I'm going to go into high adrenal fatigue. I will burn out real fast, and it's very negative. And so, if that's all I'm seeing on stage, is that's the model of success in our industry and doesn't address the fact that I have kids and my responsibilities, my daily challenges and my responsibilities are different than a man. And like my middle-aged white men in this industry, but I'm like, you all do not see what is happening behind you. Because
Look at the man behind, or the woman behind the curtain.
behind you, right? And I'm like, I love you guys, but you guys inherently just have a head start. Like you don't see all the stuff happening behind you. And so my ultimate vision in with Notorious and just this movement of honoring the feminine perspective in this industry is right now it's like the men are going through the door of success and they just let the door close behind them. And it's and I like cannot wait till like this shift happening where like the strong male counterparts in this industry walk through those doors of success and then they hold that door open for us and they usher us into the room and they're pulling our seat out at the table and we're able to like honor each other in how we do our businesses. And there's this like majesty of both of those energies and that duality in mortgage. And that's my ultimate thing.
Really, we're in an unprecedented time right now because from a regulatory perspective, the head of FHFA, the head of Fannie Mae, the head of Freddie Mac, the head of HUD, all women. I don't think that's ever probably happened. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen in January because we already know the head of HUD is changing. But I do agree. I think that women will always hold the door open, no matter what. We don't always have to agree or look at everything the same, but there still is always the supportive aspect of it. Because I can agree to disagree, but I'm still going to, if I can help you advance, I'm going to do it. I don't have to necessarily look at everything on a level playing field across the board, but I'm always willing to help somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, I just did an interview with MPA, and that was like one of the major, I don't know if you call it tenements of what I want to do. It's like I was talking with Fergal, who was doing the article. And it would have been really easy for me to be like, oh, just interview me. But I was like, you know what? This is a great opportunity. If I have a platform, can I invite some women that went to the event to be featured? So let's do some old women. Let's do not old women, but like those of us that have been in the industry. Yeah, those seasoned, those of us that have been in the industry for a long time. And then some of the newer women, so we can give them a platform. This might be their first time that they're being interviewed and in a publication, or even at the event, it was like, yes, I need my tried and true, like you guys bring home the content, but also who else can we like give a step up to? Because that very first initial step, that can create so much for somebody. And so it's real easy just to continue to go through our business and go through our life and just take care of us. But so much more can happen when we're really passing the wealth around. We can create so much more together and create so much more synergy and so much more success together than we ever can by ourselves. And so that was like with the Notorious. I could have never have done that by myself. There were so many other people that played a part with that. And then also, I really feel like it was a God thing coming. We're all just channels for that energy, whatever you want to call that.
Right.
Yeah. And when you can just get out of your own head and clear that space and just tune into that energy and work together, we can create so much. It's really brilliant.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I've even seen the shift in the last, I would say probably 3 years in events, because you're absolutely right. I obviously plan a lot of events. I've done a lot of events, and we would get complaints about you don't have enough, there aren't women speakers, or there aren't people of color, or everything is very whitewashed.
Yeah.
And singular. And I think maybe 2025 will be the year of more advancement for women, not just in the industry, but just willing to put themselves out there, because that's always the hardest part, is feeling comfortable enough in your own skin to put yourself out there and potentially fail, but know that if you are struggling, you have a lifeline of a group of people to communicate with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. I want to say for myself, like, I don't know if men think about this, by the way, if they're like that whole self-limiting beliefs. I always wonder, do you guys think the same thing as we do? I know for myself, that was the biggest hurdle to get over was my own self-limiting beliefs and the
Mhm.
what are people going to think of me? And for me, success has always predated itself with it felt like a whole lot of loss. And sometimes that's hard for us to deal with, but that loss really created space in my life for I don't want to say right people, but the better fit people to help take me to that next level. So yeah, it's been a wild experience to do this.
Yeah, I've found that it's tough to be a female in a presumably male dominant industry, but not just a female that is outspoken, that speaks their mind, that doesn't necessarily lead with emotion, but leads with logic.
Mhm.
Because if you were a man, you'd be on some with the light
Yeah,
shining down, but as a woman it's perceived as a negative because you're
yeah.
a bitch, basically. I don't know what other word to put it, but so I do. And I don't know, maybe it's because I've gone through that, I've walked over those coals, I've come out on the other side. If you like me, great. If you
Mm,
don't, that's okay too. I don't
yeah.
have to be everybody's cup of tea. I am who I am, but I am a person that will always help anybody,
Mhm.
no matter what.
There's a lot of freedom in getting to that place in your heart where yeah,
Absolutely.
you can trust in that. I just saw this graphic. It was like a meme and it said something like how men versus women and it was like men are working so hard for their family and it's women are
Hmm.
sacrificing being with their family as far as choosing success and how men
Right.
are praised for it and women are looked down on it. And it's, oh my God. Yeah. And I even in sometimes in communication with male counterparts, I don't know if you do this, but I find myself having to color what I say. So things around, I could be wrong, but because I can't just come out and say, hey, listen, that's not how this works. They're gonna, it's because that's, oh, no,
Right.
I can't say that. And then I don't think I have to color what they say. But yeah, for you to hear me, sometimes I have to come in a little bit soft and then say it a certain way and then
Yeah, yeah. You have to speak their perceived expectation. Then
Mhm.
once you can get past that, then we can have a real conversation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So not so anyway, not that we're bashing men today.
No,
Uh
I love them.
everybody has a place. Everybody has a place. So what are you doing to prepare for 2025 just in your own origination world?
Yeah, so we're actually doing an event. So in Notorious Women in Mortgage, we have a Facebook group where we are going to start monthly summits. We're closing out the year with something that we have created. Not only it's my practice, but now we're going to bring it to the women of Notorious. It's a 3-day one. So that first day, which I'm a huge fan of, is really taking an account for the past year. A lot of times what I find is we get to the end of the year and we forget all the amazing things that we did. What hits our mind usually is like maybe one or two amazing things, and then it's all the other things that we didn't do. I just met with a financial advisor today, and it's when you look at how much did I bring in and what's left and that feeling of I didn't save nearly as much. Where'd all that money go? And then it's, oh gosh, now I'm triggered into like lack mentality and like money stuff. And I'm like, okay, we need to go back and look at all the other really great things. So we'll take account for the previous year, just like month by month. What are all those things, the new friendships you made, new connections? What were your advancements in business? What are the lessons that you learned? So you can really take a full account of the past year. And then we're going to create a vision for 2025 in all aspects of life, not just in business, but who do you want to be in the new year? What are those new levels of accomplishment and like how do you for me a lot of times it's how do I want to feel, right? How do I want to
Mhm.
feel? I look at my business really based upon a lot of spiritual beliefs, and it's never really about the things that we want to accomplish. It's really the feeling underneath that we want to really get. And so how do you want to feel in that new year? And then really itemizing all that stuff. I know for me, mine revolve around simplicity, systems, strategy and success. Real big on making more money with less effort. I know some people, as a business perspective, they be counting units. And I'm like, I am not falling for that trick. I want to do
Right.
more units. I want to do more volume because that's what I get paid off of. And I am okay with that. So really, I want to simplify and really strategize. How do I keep more of the money that I'm making? I'm working with a tax strategist this coming year. I have a whole brand new team I'm bringing in, people that are real forward thinking instead of, I don't know about you, but I just get to every time I come around and do taxes. And when I get the bill, I'm like, what happened? And they're like, well, you made
Yeah.
more money. And I'm like, no kidding. And that, hey, throw me a bone here. Like, how do I keep more of it? Because
Right.
yeah, by nature, I'm a runner. And so, like, for me, it's just run, do more, make more money, close more sales. I love that part of myself. But maybe it's not so much about increasing the volume. Maybe if I just kept more and I was more strategic with what I was making, maybe I didn't have to work so hard. And maybe there's a change that could happen there. That's what I'm looking to do. And then in our live stream or our summit, that's going to be done. The first day is by my friend Amor Lume. Day 2 is going to be Rebecca Richardson. If you don't know her, she's brilliant. Her mind is like this. She comes out with the most crazy things. She got her own like library of like custom GPTs she's been using with AI and stuff. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, she's like the systems of all systems person. And I'm always like, I don't even know how you do this. And so she's going to come in, she's going to talk about once you now have where you've been, where you want to go, how do you lay a foundation and a plan and what's that like groundwork and that container that you need to make it actually happen? Because none of that matters. It doesn't matter what your goal is if you don't have a plan to make that happen. And so she's going to really break that down and show the women of the group how do you then accomplish your goals with the roadmap. And then for myself on day 3, I'm going to talk, this is going to be fun for me. I'm going to talk about manifestation. We're going to really talk about how do you align your mind with what you want to accomplish, because that, what I have found for myself has been the like magic key for myself was mastering my mindset. And so we're going to go over really manifestation and how do you master your mindset? And then we'll have a 4th day, which will be a celebration. So that's how we'll be closing out that 2024, really going into 2025. So I'm excited about that. We're going to host it next week. Yeah.
So how do people, so do they need to be part of your Facebook group, or how do they do that?
Yeah, so we put most of the stuff through the Facebook group. If you're not on Facebook, and I can always send them the link. If you guys can always find me on social, I'm across all platforms at Paige Taylor Hernandez, and we can get you involved in one way or the next.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up with that. And thank you so much, Paige. This was an amazing discussion. I am excited to hear or hope that Notorious is bigger, better things in 25 and beyond. And I'll post a link to her Facebook page in case anybody's interested in her summit for next week. So thanks again for attending this edition of Val's Vibe, and we'll see you next time.